Hello.
Yeah, I've put the next. Is it not visible?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Visible. So, firstly, I would like to share a little bit of our background of the town. Milan, existing WhatsApp chatbot provide adolescents with information across different thematic areas such as career guidance, government scheme, health and well-being. But we had a one important question: Can we make this information more interactive and engaging? That's why we explored AI. सो हमारी तीन एरियाज थे जिनको हमने एक्सप्लोर किया कि फर्स्ट वी वांटेड टू एक्सप्लोर स्केल एंड इंटेंट सपोर्ट when the number of user is large it become a difficult to manually respond to every individual question. With AI we wanted to explore the possibility of provide user with immediate and personalized response level. Secondly, we wanted to understand how adolescents prefer to receive and interact with the information, and the last and the third is dynamic learning. Manually, we can create only a limited number of questions. With AI, we can generate a new question and increase content variety. In the future, this also certain an opportunity to personalize a learning journey based on user performance and progress. तो हमारे पास तीन बेसिकली जो क्वेश्चन थे कि क्योंकि मिलान का जो अपकमिंग जो टारगेट है, क्योंकि हम विद इन 5 years 2 million ऑफ एडोलसेंट गर्ल्स के साथ काम करने वाले हैं और उनके साथ मैन्युअली उनको डील करना, उनके क्वेरीज को रिजॉल्व करना हमारे लिए पॉसिबल नहीं था, इस वजह से हमने एआई को एक्सप्लोर किया। देन सेकेंडली जो था कि क्योंकि हमने मल्टीपल ए बी टेस्टिंग करी है और देन हमने ये देखा कि बच्चों को इंटरैक्टिव वे में इंफॉर्मेशन लेना काफी इजी लगता है रादर देन कि ट्रेडिशनल मेथड में। तो हमारी तो तीन यूज केस थे। वो था कि फर्स्टली एआई पावर्ड क्यूएनए, सेकंड जो हमने एक्सप्लोर किया कि एआई जनरेटेड क्विज है जो कि क्विज के बीच में ही बच्चे पूछ सकते हैं। थर्ड गेमिफिकेशन वेयर वी कैन एक्सप्लोर फीचर्स सच एज बैचेस, प्रोग्रेस ट्रैकिंग एंड पर्सनलाइज्ड चैलेंज इन द फ्यूचर. So our larger goal was to move beyond simply sharing information and create a more interactive conversation. Just a minute. Okay. Screen visible. थोड़ा just a minute. Okay. Next slide, Tanu. So this third slide show our pilot approach. We did not implement this idea directly at a large scale. We first tested it through a small pilot. The pilot was conducted with the 40 adults in which from Fakarpur and Jarbal Block from Bahrain. What participants were the part of our Icon program मैंने पहले slide में cover किया था. During the pilot, we did not just look at the whether user is using a chatbot or not. We looked at the overall user experience through multiple sources like dashboard analytics, conversation log, in chat feedback, focus group discussion. This help us understand not just what user did, but also how they experienced the chatbot and what we could improve. Next. This slides. So this slide present our flow level matrix. Overall, the chatbot demonstrated strong engagement and completion with 90% of participants initiating the quiz, 92% completing the facts. That 25% of participants also asked questions suggested that users were actively interacting with exploring and content rather than the simply completing the quiz. Next. Okay, this slide shows the girls user feedback. Why did girls says? So overall the feedback was highly positive with the girls showing strong comfort, enjoyment, and the willingness to continue using the chatbot. The data showed that 95% said that they would use the chatbot again in the future. 90% felt happy while using the chatbot and quizzes. 93% found the quiz easy to access, and the 93% rated their comfort level. एंड द मोस्ट गर्ल वाज लाइक दिस कि ये जो बॉट है काफी इजी टू अंडरस्टैंड है, जो क्वेश्चन उसमें पूछे गए वो काफी इजी है, काफी इंटरैक्टिव मेथड है जो उनको क्वेश्चन दिए जा रहे हैं और काफी वो इंगेज कर रहे हैं। द सम ऑफ द गर्ल्स सेड दैट कि ये ट्रेडिशनल मेथड से काफी चेंज है, क्योंकि जैसा मैंने इनिशियल में बताया था कि हमने मल्टीपल ए बी टेस्टिंग करी है और हमने मेथोडोलॉजी को ट्रैक करने के साथ साथ ये भी देखा है कि बच्चों को कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन अगर हम सिंपल तरीके से भेजते हैं तो वो उसमें ज्यादा वो उसमें इंटरेस्ट नहीं लेते, क्योंकि बहुत लंबे लंबे कंटेंट होते हैं। बट अगर वही चीज हम इंटरैक्टिव वे में लाइक क्विज के माध्यम से या गेमिफिकेशन के तौर पे भेजते हैं तो बच्चे ज्यादा इंगेज करते हैं। So our most important key takeaway is the feedback suggested that the chatbot was not only easy and understandable to use, but also made learning more interactive and enjoyable, encouraging girls to stay curious, ask questions, engage more active with the content. Next. Okay, this slide is very important. AI response quality को ये बता रही है। तो अगर हम देखें कि when we evaluated the AI responses, we found that all participant queries receive response. यानी 100% of participant query receive response and 0% LLM failure observed. Uh, and most importantly, 8 out of 10 participants found the response relevant, easy to understand and complete. अगर मैं कोजिन सिमिलैरिटी की बात करूं तो जो हमारा स्कोर था वो 0.53 था, तो विच इंडिकेट मॉडरेट अलाइनमेंट विथ आवर प्री डिफाइंड golden answer. However, this score need to be interpreted carefully. Our golden answer was intentionally concise, whereas the AI often provide more detailed and comprehensive response. So a lower similarity score doesn't necessarily mean the response was incorrect or unhelpful. क्योंकि जब हमने फोकस ग्रुप डिस्कशन के थ्रू अपने ये फीडबैक कलेक्ट किए थे, देन यूजर सेड दैट की जो रिस्पॉन्स थे वो काफी एक्यूरेट थे, जबकि हमारा कोजिन सिमिलैरिटी स्कोर 0.53 था, जो कि ये शो कर रहा है कि मिनिमम अलाइनमेंट है, बहुत ज्यादा अलाइनमेंट नहीं है, जो कि आपने डिसाइड किया था आंसर। विच मीन्स कि जरूरी नहीं है कि जो कोजिन सिमिलैरिटी स्कोर अगर आपका लो दिख रहा है या 0.53 आ रहा है तो कि आपका जो एआई का रिस्पॉन्स है वो करेक्ट नहीं है। तो इसलिए जब भी हम एक फाइनल एनालिसिस रिपोर्ट बनाएंगे तो हम सारे एस्पेक्ट को ध्यान में रखते हुए ये चीज देखेंगे। नेक्स्ट। So yeah, this slide shows that aha moment. So our biggest aha moment was seeing that the shift from guided participant to self-directed learning. Once participate starting the quiz, AI quiz, many of them continue asking question and interacting with the chatbot without any prompting from the facilitator. तो कई बार क्या होता है कि हमें जब भी हम कोई एक्टिविटीज कर रहे होते हैं या फिर फीडबैक्स कलेक्शंस कर रहे होते हैं या इंटरव्यूज कर रहे होते हैं, हमें कई बार यूजर्स को या डॉल्सन्स गर्ल को मल्टीपल टाइम बोलना पड़ता है कि आपको ये चीज करना है। बट एक चीज जो मैंने नोटिस करी थी कि जब बच्चे एआई क्विज कर रहे थे थ्रू द व्हाट्सएप, वो काफी एंगेज हो गए थे उसमें, उनको बार बार पुश नहीं करना पड़ रहा था कि आपको रिस्पॉन्ड करना है। दे शोड दैट कि गर्ल्स आर एंजॉयिंग वेरी, गर्ल्स काफी इंजॉय कर रहे हैं। नेक्स्ट। So this slide presenting our key learning. तो first जो learning रही है वो है prompt is not a one time activity. During the pilot, we continuously tested and refined our prompts. We learned that if we want AI to provide accurate structure, appropriate prompt and guardrails needs to involve continuously based on real user interaction. तो हमने मल्टीपल टाइम प्रॉम्प्ट में चेंजेस किए। जब हमने फर्स्ट प्रॉम्प्ट क्रिएट किया था तो हमने एआई को ही सारे इंस्ट्रक्शन दे दिए थे कि आपको स्कोर कार्ड कैसे इवेल्यूट करना है या क्वेश्चंस कैसे जनरेट करना है, पूरे क्विज जनरेशन रूल्स, स्कोर कार्ड रूल्स, वो सारे हमने प्रॉम्प्ट में ही इंक्लूड कर दिए थे। और जब हमने इसको टेस्ट किया तो हमने ये देखा कि हमारे जो क्विज का स्कोर कार्ड था वो सही तरीके से नहीं आ रहा था। देन हमने उसके बाद एआई को मल्टीपल टाइम हमने प्रॉम्प्ट को चेंजेस किया एंड देन हमने फिर सारे जो फ्लो लॉजिक्स जो स्कोर कार्ड के हमें इवेल्यूशन चाहिए थे वो सब हमने फ्लो लॉजिक के थ्रू करें, एक्सप्रेशंस के थ्रू करें। देन उसके बाद हमारा फ्लो जो है फाइनल रूप से चल पाया। सो जो प्रॉम्प्ट है इज नॉट अ वन टाइम एक्टिविटी। Our second learning is user are the best feedback loop. Dashboard number alone don't give the complete picture. We looked at the conversation log, in chat feedback, FGD to understand how our user actually experienced the chatbot. So the third learning shows है कि AI score doesn't tell the complete story. जो मैंने पहले स्लाइड में कवर किया था कि कोजन सिमिलैरिटी हमारे 0.5 थी, जो कि मॉडरेट सिमिलैरिटी थी हमारी गोल्डन क्यूएनए से। तो जब भी हमें फुल यूजर जर्नी देखनी है या फिर इवैल्यूएशन हमें बताना है, तो हमें एफजीटीज के भी फीडबैक्स देखने पड़ेंगे। इन चैट फीडबैक में यूजर क्या फीडबैक दे रहा है वो देखना पड़ेगा, और एज वेल एज हमारा कोजल सिमिलैरिटी तो इम्पोर्टेंट है। दो लास्ट जो फोर हमारी लर्निंग है, कॉन्वर्सेशन ड्राइव क्यूरियोसिटी, सम पार्टिसिपेंट आस्क एडिशनल क्वेश्चन इन द मिडिल ऑफ द क्विज एंड सम वॉलंटरी अटैक द क्विज। तो हमने ये नोटिस किया कि क्योंकि हमारा जो यूज केस था कि सिर्फ हम एआई क्विज नहीं टेस्ट करना चाह रहे थे, हमारे फ्लो में ही दो पाथ गए हुए थे। एक पाथ एआई क्विज का था, सेकंड एआई क्यूएनए का था। हम ये भी देखना चाह रहे थे कि अगर कोई बच्चा, क्योंकि जब रियल वर्ल्ड में हमारा फ्लो जाता है तो बच्चे मोमेंट में भी क्वेश्चंस कर रहे होते हैं, तो हमने उस एस्पेक्ट को ध्यान में रखते हुए ये पूरा फ्लो क्रिएट किया था। और बच्चे जो थे वो बीच में भी क्विज के क्वेश्चंस को कर रहे थे और एआई उनका बहुत ही करेक्ट तरीके से जवाब दे रहा था। तो नेक्स्ट हमारी लर्निंग है बैकएंड मैटर एज मच एज एआई, क्योंकि AI response was successfully reaching user and we observed no LLM response failure during the pilot, जो कि मैंने फर्स्ट स्लाइड में बताया था कि जीरो LLM फेलियर था। ये काफी इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है हमें चेक करना कि जो कि हम वेबो क्लॉक के थ्रू चेक कर रहे होते हैं कि हमारा कोई फेलियर है कि नहीं है। During the pilot, we faced an issue with the Google Sheet integration where some data was not captured correctly. So the user experience was working, but the data we need for monitoring was not allowed being captured properly. This taught us that when building an AI solution, the backend and monitoring system need to be as reliable as the itself. तो हमने वो इंटीग्रेशन उसको करेक्ट किया, देन उसके बाद हमने सेकंड पायलट अपनी एलिमेनाइज गर्ल्स के साथ करा एंड देन फिर हमने चेक किया डेटा काफी बेटर तरीके से आ रहा था। तो हमारा प्रोडक्ट तो चल गया, बट हमें बैकएंड पे बहुत ज्यादा फोकस करने की जरूरत है कि वो एलएलएम में कोई फेलियर तो नहीं आ रहा है, हमारा इंटीग्रेशन प्रॉपर हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ है। ये सारी चीजें हमें देखना काफी इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है जब हमें लार्जर एनालिसिस चाहिए किसी चीज की। तो नेक्स्ट, so this slide shows our next step. The pilot has given us a strong foundation, and our next step is to move from a successful pilot to more structured and scalable learning experience. First, we wanted to strengthen AI quality monitoring, क्योंकि अभी तक हमने AI tables जो है AI क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर का किया है, बट हमारा जो नेक्स्ट स्टेप है कि क्विज क्वेश्चंस के लिए हम एआई इवैल्यूएशंस कैसे, एआई इवल्स कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं, वो हमारा लार्जर अपकमिंग टारगेट है। सेकंड, वी वांटेड टू बिल्ड अ स्ट्रक्चर्ड क्विज बैंक अक्रॉस आवर की थीमेटिक एरियाज। This will help us reduce repetition and make the learning experience more adaptive to each participant progress. And the third is, and finally, we wanted to bring in a strong gamification through badges, progress tracking, personalized challenge, reminders, and certificates. So the goal is just not to scale the chatbot, but to scale a learning experience that became more intelligent, personalized, customized, and engaging over time. Next. So last slide shows the key our key learnings from the pilot. जैसे मैंने पहले भी बोला था, start with the user problem, not the AI. First, we learned that we should not start with AI. We should start with the user problem. The real question was how can we provide docents with information and a learning experience that is useful and engaging for them. And the second, prompting is an iterative process. आप कभी भी फर्स्ट प्रॉम्प्ट को फाइनल प्रॉम्प्ट नहीं मान सकते हैं, आपको मल्टीपल प्रॉम्प्ट्स में चेंजेस करने पड़ेंगे, देन उसके बाद ही, और वो चेंजेस आपको तब करना है जब यूजर्स आपको फीडबैक दे रहा है कि इस तरीके से क्वेश्चन नहीं आ रहा है या ये प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, देन उसके बाद चेंज करके अपने फाइनल प्रोडक्ट को इवेल्युएट करना पड़ेगा। And the third, the most important approach for us was we started by building on a small scale, tested it with real user, listened to their feedback and the data, made improvement and the validate the change before scaling. Yani build, test, listen and iterate. So for us, the pilot was not just about the testing whether AI works. It was about understanding how AI can work better for adults. So yeah, this from my side. Thank you so much, guys. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, Sharifta. It was like wonderful. Like for me, the
Okay.
biggest takeaway is chatbot is not a one-time activity, but a iterative activity. With you have to change based on by listening, by understanding. Just take through this whole. Thank you so much. Opening the floor for questions. Like you can ask questions to Shagufta. Maybe we'll take like 3, 4 questions and then we'll move on. Tanu, you can stop. sharing. Yeah. You can unmute yourself and ask Shagufta any questions.
Hi, Shagufta. Thank you so much for the presentation. It was so lovely to see, your learnings from the pilot. I just had one question. So, from what I'm understanding, your target users are all adolescent girls, right? Am I correct in that? Yeah. Okay. I just want to ask that. Thank you.
Right, right. Yeah, our target users are adolescents girls, ages 11 to 18.
11 to 18. Okay.
Yeah.
And so then, like, what kind of details are you asking the girls in terms of like when they start using the bot? Like,
Mhm.
they would be registering, right? Like, so their name, their phone number. I'm also thinking from a child safeguarding and also the DPDP
Right, right, right,
perspective, like
right.
their data. So how are you looking at that piece?
Actually, अभी अब जब से हम लोगों ने एआई इंटीग्रेट करना स्टार्ट किया अपने मल्टीपल फ्लोज में, तो हमारा एक स्टैंडर्ड एस्केलेशन प्रोसेस हमने हर एआई पे यानी हर प्रॉम्प्ट में हमने इंक्लूड करा है, जिसमें हम बेसिकली एआई को ये इंस्ट्रक्ट कर रहे होते हैं कि आपको किस तरह के क्वेश्चंस के जवाब बच्चे को नहीं देना है। अगर बच्चा सेंसिटिव क्वेश्चन पूछता है तो उसको किस तरीके से एआई टैकल करेगा। और उसमें हमने ह्यूमन एस्केलेशन वाला भी पॉइंट ऐड किया हुआ है कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर कोई बच्चा किसी ट्रबल्स में है, देन एआई उसको सिंपैथेटिकल आंसर वहां पे प्रोवाइड करेगा। देन फिर भी बच्चे को अगर फर्दर किसी नीड की जरूरत है या ह्यूमन इंटरेक्शन की जरूरत है, देन वो एक कीवर्ड टाइप करेगा, तो उसकी क्वेरी डायरेक्ट जो है वो ह्यूमन पे एस्केलेट हो जाएगी। तो वहां पे हमारी जो टीम मेंबर्स है, जो हमारी इंटरनल एसओपी है, सेफ गार्डिंग एसओपी है, उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए फिर बच्चे की वो प्रॉब्लम रिजॉल्व करेगी। तो ये वाला जो पोर्शन है वो हम लगभग हर प्रॉम्प्ट में इंक्लूड करते हैं, चाहे वो हमारा क्विज का फ्लो हो या नॉर्मल फ्लो हो या बाय डिफॉल्ट फ्लो हो या क्वेश्चन फ्लो हो या मल्टीपल फ्लोज में हम इसको इंक्लूड करें।
ओके। हाँ, ओके, दैट्स हेल्पफुल। एंड आप बच्चे की कौन सी डिटेल्स आप कलेक्ट कर रहे हो या अपने पास रख रहे हो, लाइक उनका फोन
ओके,
नंबर
फॉर द
नाम?
ऑनबोर्डिंग पर्सपेक्टिव हम बहुत बेसिक क्वेश्चंस बच्चे से लेते हैं जो हमारे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, और इनिशियल में जब हम ऑनबोर्डिंग कराते हैं तभी हम उनकी कंसेंट भी वहां पे ले लेते हैं कि आप फर्दर आप चाहते हो कि आपको मैसेज आगे जाना चाहिए मिलान की तरफ से। अगर बच्चा ओके बोलता है देन तभी हम उनको ऑप्ट इन करते हैं, अदरवाइज फिर वो बच्चा ऑप्ट आउट हो जाता है। तो बेसिक इन्फॉर्मेशन, नेम, एज, एजुकेशन, दैट्स इट। इसके अलावा कोई ऐसा, क्योंकि डीपीडीपी एक्ट भी अगर आप देखोगे तो हम बहुत ज्यादा डेटा नहीं ले सकते हैं बच्चे का, तो एक बेसिक इन्फॉर्मेशन हम उनकी कैप्चर करते हैं थ्रू द ऑनबोर्डिंग फ्लो।
Okay, great. Thank you so much. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Vidwat, you had a question. You had your hand raised.
Namaste. I'm Shailaja, joined from my interviews. Yeah, I wanted to know, am I audible?
Yeah.
Acha, okay. I wanted to know, was this data collection through the chatbot, what you have done, is related to the health or the adolescent problems or challenges what they were facing, or any other educational related things? One of the question Avantika asked, so I got the answer, but this is another my question.
ओके, जो अगर मैं मिलान की बात करूं तो मिलान का जो हम 3 थीमेटिक एरियाज में वर्क करते हैं, एडोलसेंस की हेल्थ, एजुकेशन एंड उनकी सेफ्टी को लेकर के जो हमारी जितनी भी इंफॉर्मेशन हम उनको शेयर करते हैं, ये 3 थीमेटिक एरियाज के अराउंड होते हैं। अगर मैं डेटा कलेक्शन की बात करूं तो आप ये ऑनबोर्डिंग की बात कर रहे हो? ऑनबोर्डिंग के टाइम हम कौन सा डेटा कलेक्ट करते हैं?
No, not onboarding. During the questionnaires, quiz.
ओके, जैसा मैंने बोला कि हमारा जो थीमेटिक एरियाज है, सेफ्टी, एजुकेशन एंड हेल्थ। तो फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम एमएचएम का कोई फ्लो बना रहे हैं, मेंस्ट्रुअल हेल्थ मैनेजमेंट का फ्लो बना रहे हैं, और फिर हम उससे रिलेटेड क्विज का फ्लो क्रिएट करते हैं, राइट, कि बच्चे एमएचएम के बारे में जो इन्फॉर्मेशन हम उनको देना चाहते हैं वो क्विज के थ्रू बच्चा लर्न करे, राइट। तो इस टाइप से डेटा हम उनको कलेक्ट करते हैं कि मल्टीपल नॉलेज बेस में हम एक लेवल लगा देते हैं कि ये हाई, मॉडरेट या सिंपल क्वेश्चंस है या कंटेंट है जो बच्चे को जानना काफी जरूरी है। तो नॉलेज बेस हम पहले क्रिएट कर लेते हैं, देन उसके बाद एआई या हम असिस्टेंट में उसको इंटीग्रेट करते हैं, देन उसके बाद वो उसी कंटेंट, उसी नॉलेज बेस के थ्रू जो है वो एआई उनसे क्वेश्चंस करता है, देन उसके बाद जितनी भी क्विजेस उनसे पूछे जाते हैं उसका डेटा हम अपने बैकएंड में कैप्चर करते हैं। वो इजीली बिग क्वेरी से एक्सट्रैक्ट कर लेते हैं, या फिर हमारा लूकर स्टूडियो भी है जो कि ऑलरेडी ग्लिफिक ने वो टेम्पलेट प्रोवाइड किया है, तो आप लूकर के थ्रू भी वो डेटा वहाँ पे देख सकते हैं कि ये क्विज का क्या रिस्पॉन्स आ रहा है, बच्चा करेक्ट जवाब दे रहा है नहीं दे रहा है, क्या जर्नी रही है उसकी।
थैंक यू सो मच शगुफ्ता। अभी दो क्वेश्चन और है चैट पे, आई वुड लाइक यू टू टेक इट ऑफलाइन in the interest of time. So we'll move to the next speaker. We have Krishna from Kind Citizen, who will speak about their work that they have done on Accelerator. Krishna, आपको we made you the co-host, so you should be able to share the screen.
Yeah, sure. 1 second.
Yeah.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah. So I also have our organization founder, Ms. Dolly Aswani ma'am, also here.
Hi, Dolly.
Hello.
You can get started, Krishna.
Yeah. So basically, we are from the Kind Citizen, and the main agenda of our chatbot was to integrate our individual volunteers, corporate and NGOs into one go. Like in one chatbot, we can use our 3 different use cases. So for our individual volunteers, we are working on finding the NGOs near their location. For example, if there is a very less dense area, so there might be not so many NGOs in their 10, 15 or 25-kilometer radius. So we want them to find their best possible 5 NGOs of the cause they want to work on. For example, if they want to work on animal welfare, if they want to contribute to the child welfare also. So we can help them in their in this, like finding the correct NGOs which are working on that cause. So we'll ask them their name, like hello, yeah, ma'am is there.
Yeah, sorry. Hi Sangeeta, hi team Pacific. So sorry, Krishna नहीं मुझे मतलब मेरे पास कैलेंडर ब्लॉक था, but I'm so sorry, I'm in transit, so I'm just like a couple of minutes late. Sorry Krishna, you had to just start yourself. But Krishna directly told me, Dolly ma'am आप शुरू करिएगा, I will take care of the tech part. So Krishna is the tech head of our company. I am the speaking head of my company. मतलब मैं अच्छा बोलती हूँ और कृष्णा अच्छा कोड करते हैं. So कृष्णा पहली वाली स्लाइड से ही हम शुरू करेंगे. First of all,
Yeah.
thank you so much for this lightning talk. I was there for the Milan का talk also. And just brush up, we are from the Kind Citizen. It's a social matchmaking platform connecting 3 entities together. Volunteers, that is individual volunteers, people like you and me. NGOs, again people like you and me, but who work in the NGOs, who represent NGOs. So the first is individual volunteers, the second is NGOs, the third is corporates. Now, we have been working for the past 3 years. The Kind Citizen was started 3 years ago with a simple mission of making seva/volunteering in English accessible and effortless. Now, in this whole 3 years, what we noticed was in these 3 years only, we were only able to tap Delhi NCR as a region. But more and more volunteers from across India started reaching out to us to ask, where can we volunteer near us? And these people, some person is from Visakhapatnam, some person is from Amritsar, some person is from Ladakh. So things like these started happening. And while we started our journey with Glyphic, we were very clear on the idea that we want to build something that not only restricts people in one geography. Anybody, even sitting in a rural area, can access the chatbot and search verified NGOs near them to volunteer. And not only verified NGOs for a cause that matters a lot to them. So there are a lot of people, for example, one real case study is one girl whose mother went through cancer and came out of cancer. She really wanted to do something for NGOs who are working on cancer awareness or who are working on women who go through cancer. So on the chatbot, now Krishna will take you through that. If you just select the cause, that is women, and it only asks for your current location, and everyone and anyone knows how to send a current location on their WhatsApp. You send your current location, and in 2 seconds, 5 NGOs are mapped who are working on with like under 5 kilometers of your radius, with their phone numbers, with their email IDs, with their website, with their anything and everything, and also a rating system. So a lot of the times when Google ratings, when there are Google ratings available of different NGOs, you get that. But there is a rating system which Krishna will tell you how we are building, and also we have a packet that Krishna has built. कि कैसे NGOs on board होते हैं. So first and foremost, I was talking about individual volunteers, how people find the NGOs near them and volunteer if they want to donate, if they want to spend time. Our main beneficiary is not volunteers who are volunteering, it's the NGO that's benefiting from volunteers. So, how an NGO did with the kind citizen? We asked them, आपको पूरा कृष्णा दिखाएगा कि एक NGO जब ऑनबोर्ड होता है तो उससे उसका 80G और 12A का सर्टिफिकेट जस्ट फॉर डॉक्यूमेंटेशन पर्पसेस मांगा जाता है. तो कैसे AI को यूज करके हमने उस डॉक्यूमेंट को स्कैन करा फ्रॉम आवर चैटबॉट कि क्या उन्होंने सही डॉक्यूमेंट डाला या उन्होंने कुछ भी ऐसे अटैचमेंट डाल कर दिया. So दूसरा यूज केस इज NGO onboarding. The third use case, अभी भी अगर आप वेबसाइट पे जाएंगे द काइंड सिटीजन की, आपको एक व्हाट्सएप का ब्लॉग दिखेगा जिसमें डायरेक्ट मैसेज मेरे पास आता है. If you select that you are an NGO, you get to message me. If you select you're a volunteer, you get to message. The third that is very important for us is how do we talk to corporate partners who are discovering us on the ChatGPT or some AI search engine or on Google, that corporate actually blocks a time with us, or we can block a time with them, and that whole flow will be shown by Krishna. I will take a back seat now. I hope you have some background on what we do and what we've tried to build. कृष्णा आपको स्क्रीनशॉट्स में भी दिखाएगा सारे के सारे जो उसका फ्लो है. हमने जानबूझ के पूरे व्हाट्सएप के ही चैट्स के स्क्रीनशॉट्स अटैच कर दिए एंड इन द एंड एक QR कोड भी अटैच किया है so that you can also test. Instead of asking us questions, go through that, take 2 minutes and then come to us with questions. I think that will be. I'm eagerly waiting. मैं कृष्णा को बोल रही थी कि हमें critical feedback मिले इस call पे so that we can make ourselves better. And thanks a lot to Sagita, thanks a lot to Amisha. Every one of us was always present for us. But now, Krishna, you take it.
Thank you, ma'am. So basically, we have three main use cases in our single chatbot. The first is the NGO locator, which is the NGOs near the user's location. So at first, when we tried it, we made it very smaller, like the location and their radius. We made only 10-kilometer radius part. Like if a user is 10 kilometers away from any NGO, we give them the NGOs which are 10 kilometers away from them in the circular radius. So for example, like I'm right now living in Noida, so I can get so many NGOs near just in 5 kilometers. But if someone कोई अगर बहुत ही remote location पे रह रहा है, so उसके लिए बहुत मुश्किल है कि उनके 30 किलोमीटर के रेडियस पे भी उनको वो प्रॉपर NGOs मिल पाएंगे या नहीं. So instead of giving them zero results, we have come forward with the expandable radius option, so it can move up to 50 kilometers, and we are also expanding it more for more dense areas, so that any user who is selecting the cause can get at least 5 NGOs near them, or not near them if they are living in very much less dense areas. So basically, because of Glyphic, we don't need to do high level of code for this. But for this NGO locator, we have used a Calla webhook node, which is inbuilt in Glyphic. And in the Google Cloud Console, we have used the Google Places API, which helps us in finding the NGOs near the location. But there is a catch also there, there are many NGOs that don't mention their cause in their websites or in their domain. So it is very difficult for Google also to find the correct causing NGO. Like if I have selected animal welfare, but in my location, if there is no NGO who has उन्होंने अपने website पे भी कुछ नहीं लिखा है animal welfare से regarding, या anything in their if they have their Instagram page, या उनके कुछ भी events में उन्होंने अपने उस welfare के regarding कुछ नहीं लिखा है, तो Google को कैसे पता लगेगा? So उसके लिए भी हम लोग we are experimenting an AI solution so that Google can verify. We also can verify, the AI can verify if the NGO have worked in the past 3 years for that cause. So we can give the user a better approach. Like right now, it is around 70 to 80% accurate results which we are getting from the Google Cloud Console. But we wanted to get more than 95, 97% results so that every user can get the NGOs which they wanted according to their cause. Like if I am a user, I want to work on education. So I like to find NGOs which work on education only. So this will be the main aspect of this like use case one. So in use case one, when you like open our chatbot and select individual volunteer, you the chatbot will ask your name, and after that they'll ask you your you have to share your location on WhatsApp, which is inbuilt. You have to select your cause. Like we have more than 10 plus cause, and also if there are some users who wants to find their causes which are not listed there, we have also given the option of that also. Then when he selects their cause, the Google Maps API triggers and it will check in their radius. First, they will check in the 5 kilometer radius if there are 5 NGOs of that cause available. After that, it will get increased 5 to 5 kilometers till 50 kilometers. So right now we are getting results in the top 50, like if we are getting to the 50 kilometer radius extension, we are getting the 5 NGO results. And also we have around 115, 120 NGO partners which work with us. So like वो हमारे लिए श्योरिटी है कि हाँ ये एनजीओज के साथ हम भी काम करते हैं. सो टीकेसी वेरीफाइड एक बैच हम उनको प्रोवाइड करते हैं. सो इफ यूजर फाइंड्स एन एनजीओ विच इज टीकेसी वेरीफाइड, वी विल शो देम एट टॉप एंड ऑल्सो एक बैच लगा होगा उसके आगे कि हाँ ये आप इसको आप ट्रस्ट कर सकते हो बिकॉज ये हमारे साथ भी काम करता है. हम इनकी एक तरीके से गारंटी टाइप लेते हैं कि यस दिस एनजीओ वर्क्स रियली वेल, यू कैन ट्रस्ट दिस. So, and this is the chat, like you have to select individual volunteer. After that, they'll ask your name, what cause do you want to work on, and your location. And after that, you will get the 5 NGOs. And there is one more thing, like right now we are getting the Google ratings, like Google ratings, not many Google rating. Like in this screenshot, if you see, there are 33 reviews only for this NGO. So we are also building another thing like which will we will call it the TKC community rating. इस रेटिंग में बेसिकली जो भी यूजर है उन्होंने जब भी एनजीओ सेलेक्ट किया, we'll ask them a question after 24 hours like have you visited or contacted any NGO. If yes, we'll give them the list of that 5 NGO and ask them which NGO did you visited, and we'll ask them to rate the NGO. And this rating will also merge with the Google rating and we'll give the results according to that so that the user can get the right and the correct NGOs for their cause. So basically this is the main plan for the
कृष्ण, would like to come in here. तो ये
Yeah.
तो वो रेटिंग हुई जो वॉलंटियर ने हमारे एनजीओ को दिया, या कोई भी एनजीओ जो डिस्कवर कर रहा है पहली बार. फॉर एग्जांपल डॉली अभी दिल्ली में है, उसको एनिमल वेलफेयर के किसी एनजीओ से वो व्हाट्सएप से मिली. 24 घंटे बाद हमने डॉली से एक पुश मैसेज से पूछा क्या क्या रहा आपका उस एनजीओ के साथ, क्या उस एनजीओ ने आपसे बात की, क्या उस एनजीओ में आपका फोन उठाया. बेसिकली एन एनपीएस रेटिंग हम उनसे पूछेंगे, वहां से वो रेटिंग होगा. पर हमारे जितने एनजीओ पार्टनर्स है करंटली बैकएंड में 200 से ज्यादा एनजीओ पार्टनर्स है. वी आर आल्सो बिल्डिंग अ सिस्टम उनके एग्जिस्टिंग जो वॉलंटियर्स हैं ऑलरेडी एनजीओस के, वो कैसे अपने एनजीओ को रेट करके, चाहे अच्छा करे चाहे बुरा करे, पर वो अपने एनजीओ की रेटिंग कैसे बनाए, सो दैट सब लोग गूगल रेटिंग ना, सिर्फ गूगल रेटिंग पे ना डिपेंड करे. एक्चुअल लोग जिन्होंने एनजीओ को रेट किया है, और एनजीओ भी लोगों को रेट करेंगे. जब हम हमारा इतना बड़ा अभी वॉलंटियर बेस नहीं है कि हम एनजीओ को बोले अच्छा उस वॉलंटियर ने आपको कॉल किया था, उस वॉलंटियर को रेट करो. हाउ इफ आई एम सिटिंग इन एन उबर, द ड्राइवर विल ऑल्सो रेट मी, आई विल ऑल्सो रेट द ड्राइवर. सो एनजीओ रेटिंग द वॉलंटियर 2 साल बाद का हमारा प्लान है. अभी के लिए हम वॉलंटियर एनजीओ को रेट करवा दें. दिस इज आवर प्लान, लाइक एटलीस्ट 1 साल का हमारा प्लान. सॉरी कृष्णा, आई जस्ट वांटेड टू कम.
So basically this was our use case one for the NGOs near you option. And after that, there is an use case two, which is for corporates like CSR event planner. So here, like corporates can select their preferred city and the cause. bot here we are also working on, like bot suggests the events to corporate, and our team will come prepared with that cause if corporate likes it. And also in the starting, like if you select CSR and corporate, let me show you first the chat, chat screenshot. So after the welcome message, you will given the three options: NGO, social worker, individual volunteer, and corporate CSR. Individual volunteer is the one which is the use case one, which is NGO near you. Corporate and CSR is for the corporates. So when you select the corporate CSR, we'll ask your name, your company name, and also your business ID, the required details which we want. And after that, what type of thing you are looking for, like if you are looking for CSR implementation or any other thing, like what will be a budget of your program and in which timeline, like in this month, next month, or in the next quarter, what is your expected timeline that you want this event to happen. So all these detail will be collected by us, and after these details will be collected, we'll give them a time of we'll contact them after 48 business hours. But 48 hours are also too long, so we have used an HSM template here. So after 24 hours, our chatbot will trigger an automated message there to ask them, these are some lists of events, which would you like to come up with, like if you want any of the specific events details, or you want to go with this event also. So this will help to come help our team also to come prepared with them. Like we can get uh, for example, we also have events regarding to stray dogs, and if the corporate selects an events regarding the stray dogs, तो हम corporate से पूछेंगे उस डिटेल के रिगार्डिंग. फिर जो 24 आवर्स के बाद हमारी मीटिंग है, हम भी प्रिपेयर होके जाएंगे, कॉर्पोरेट भी प्रिपेयर होके आएगा. इससे दोनों का टाइम भी बचेगा, एंड ऑल्सो उनके लिए इतने सारे इवेंट्स के ऑप्शन इजीली अवेलेबल रहेंगे. So that is the main agenda for this corporate option. And this is our third and the final use case, which is NGO onboarding. Like there are so many NGOs, if they want to onboard with us, so basically the starting welcome message, you have to select NGO, and after that we'll ask the NGO name, your name, what is your position, your email ID, phone number, if you have any website or any Instagram link, anything. So after that we'll ask them about if they have any certificate of 12 and 80. If they have the certificate, we'll give them an option like please provide your certificate, so that they can get the TKC verified badge, and in the NGO locator, they will be prioritized most. And for that, right now, we have used the AI assistant, which is built in Glyphic. So we have given the prompt, but right now it only validates the photograph, like in the image. हम image upload करेंगे तो वो अपना 80G है या 12A है, वो verify कर सकता है, but right now PDF के लिए option नहीं है. So उसके लिए भी we have come up with a solution which we are working on right now. We can use a Koala webhook node and request the external API, so that it can convert the PDF into words and then let the user know if their PDF is valid or not. If it is valid, they will be counted on the TKC verified badge. They will, and after all the details were filled, they will also onboard as the NGO partner with TKC. And we have conducted the pilot basically 2 times. In the first pilot, there were some technical issues with our flows, like flow stops in the midway. If person has sent hi, sometimes we have to send hi 2 or 3 times, then the reply comes. So the issue is now resolved by the Griffith team also. So when the second pilot was done, we had around more than 45 users, and the flow completion rate was again 70 to 90%, because at the first pilot, the main feedback we got was the NGO form was very much long. Like it was too long that user don't want to finish it properly. They quit it in midway or in the last step also. So we are making it also more interactive. But for our NGO locator, we are right now getting very good responses. And in this, we are also coming up with the NPS score, which Dolly ma'am also explained it earlier, and the CSR inquiries. Like it is for corporates, like we can have the CSR inquiries with them. We can suggest, like AI can automatically suggest which event they should go with by checking their past data also. And also for the PDF format of the ATG and 12A, we are working on that also. And the main thing which right now is our main priority is the cause function in the NGO locator. Like we have 10 plus causes, but we want every cause like counted. If I have selected animal welfare, the NGOs which are coming in my screen, the top 5 NGOs, they only should have been in the they should have been working in the animal welfare section. So we are working on that also. And these are our next steps, like NGO rating system, which we have done, expanding the NGO database. Like we are adding more than 130 plus NGOs if possible, so that our radius expands and we can get accurate results for the NGO locator. This is the most practical way to get the correct NGOs for their causes, because many NGOs don't really like update their website regularly or mention what cause they work on, or are they willing for any donations right now, or they have stopped it. So for that, we are adding some more NGOs if possible. And this is our QR. If you can try this and give us the feedback for what we can change and anything.
Thank you, Krishna and Dolly, for presenting. We'll share these presentations
Yeah.
over email to all of you. In the interest of time, I'm not pausing for questions right now
Yeah.
because we have one more speaker. But people, please feel free to ask questions on the chat here to Krishna and Dolly. They would be taking up your questions. And you can also like share it on our WhatsApp group in case you want to connect, and like happy to make that connection. Now we'll have our third presentation. Siddharth, thanks for sharing the screen already. So Siddharth from ResGov presenting responsive governance, presenting on their accelerator learnings. They have worked with the government officials for their project, and we hope this would be like a new learning from many of you. Over to you, Siddharth.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to keep it within 5 minutes, I hope, because I'm looking forward to the questions also. Anyway, my name is Siddharth. I'm from an organization called Foundation for Responsive Governance. Nice to see many of you back here again. And also to see from the first workshop we were creating the demo how a lot of your chatbot flows have come so far ahead. In today's lightning talk, I'd like to share a little bit about how our pilots have gone so far in Meghalaya. Just to give you a little bit of context on what we have been doing there, we have partnered with the government of Meghalaya. So, like there's a Niti Ayog at the union level, there are also Niti equivalent institutions at the state level. So, they're in charge of coming up with policy recommendations for other departments, coming up with the innovative governance reforms, and also supporting departments in their current initiatives. We have partnered with them on a program that's called the Human Development Leadership Program, where officers from about 6 to 7 different departments come together to form a council at the district level and also at the block level. So the hierarchy of the state usually is a state, then division, then you'd have district, you'd have block, and then you'd have villages. And each of these levels sort of have different, there are different line departments, there are different, like, for example, health, social welfare, rural development, agriculture, forestry, so on and so forth. And there's also a general administration that sits. So, for example, at the block level, it would be a block development officer. At the district level, it would be a deputy commissioner or a district magistrate who's sort of heading the whole administrative unit. What we are doing is trying to work with these block human development teams, so these councils, like I mentioned, that have officers from about 6 different departments who are mandated to come together to conduct house visits. So they're supposed to go visit houses in a certain set of villages, and there's a different theme that is given to them every couple of months. So every 4 months, there's a different theme that they're given. And when we started off the program, the theme was maternal health. So we also started working on that. Now, slowly, the theme has moved on to is moving on to climate, and there'll be other themes also that sort of come up in the program. Our main objective of working with the government on this program was to try and understand how can you make officers at this block level, at this district level, really use data in their decision making, because there's so many decisions they have to make on their everyday basis. And this can be from as simple as deciding what a priority is to solve, or whether a scheme has been delivered properly or not, or whether somebody is trying to access a right and they've got it or not, right? But the bulk of access to resources, whether it's data that already exists in the system, or whether it's making sense of that data, pulling it from dashboards, trying to understand how to use it, a lot of the effort from the government side only goes towards the state level officers for this, or officers who you see in the union, right? So IAS officers, senior state service officers, only they usually get the training to make sense of this data. So that's where we have come in, and that's where we're trying to make data more accessible for them, improve data literacy, and also get them towards what we call data leadership. That's what the program is called. It's called the Data Leadership Program. Our goal is to get them to use data in their everyday decision making, right, as much as possible in the course of a year. So where we came in with our pilot for the chatbot, so there are a lot of things already going on within this program. For example, we're making learning resources that officers can use and watch at their own time. There are infographics being shared with them. There is also like select blocks across the state where we're doing a one-on-one facilitation model, where we've picked them as a first batch of like a first cohort, and we're working very closely with them to see how they sort of navigate, this whole use of sourcing data and making use of it. And then we've also got the chatbot that we sort of added to the mix. The objective behind the chatbot was, if we are pulling data from different dashboards, if we are trying to make sense of different challenges from a very multidisciplinary point of view, how exactly can we make it easily accessible for the officer? Instead of going and giving everybody a printout like what you see in the photo, how can you make this happen more easily, make data access easy? So that's what we were trying to do. And we took out the chatbot for this. We had 3, 4 different flows that we created. One was, of course, a registration flow to get them added to our backend. The second, and it has very few questions, because just on the outset, I think I have to explain, the government is very difficult to work with, because they have so many things going on. They have hundreds of priorities. They have hundreds of things going on. So to get their time, even if the chief minister's office is sending you, is extremely difficult. So everything that we had to design for them had to be very quick, had to be very short. So even our registration flow is only 4 or 5 questions, and then they're onboarded. Then they move towards a menu where they can either access the AI powered data assistant, or they can access a feedback flow. They can, in time, we're hoping we can also add resources that they want to access, or simple ways for them to reach the dashboard, for example, right? The AI powered data assistant, what it does is it provides you with a knowledge, like the knowledge file is a profile that we have created for a particular block, for a particular village. And it remains specific, right? Because it cannot be generalized. So each block will have its own profile, each village will have a separate profile, and each district will have its own separate profile. So these files differ based on how the indicators have performed there. So to give you an example, if we took maternal health, we wanted to look at what we call determinants of maternal health. So an officer, so for example, things that affect a mother's health or a pregnant woman's health is not only the services that a health department provides, like antenatal care, or access to iron folic acid tablets, or even access to birthing services at home. It's also the cleanliness. So stuff that, say, for example, Swachh Bharat mission does, or Jal Jeevan mission does, also becomes important in this case, right? And access to education to avoid, for example, teenage pregnancies, things like that also matter. So we had to pull out data from different places and create this one resource, and then try to share it with them. The yeah, the In the pilot itself, we spoke to different officers from, like I said, in these blocks. We went to 5 different blocks from where we are doing the one-on-one facilitation. We did this between June and July, like the rest of all of us in this cohort, and we spoke to 21 block officers for this chatbot flow, where we would get them through this process. And then 2 of our team members who are in the field would also then ask them couple of semi-structured questions to capture what worked and what didn't. So it's sort of like a tool testing method that we were using, but it was very interview based, right? We had 8 state level officers also who we tested this out with, including the additional chief secretary of the state, who was very interested in seeing how this would work. The state is excited because, of course, it's a tool that can be taken at scale, but then the story behind how it actually happens was slightly more complex. To give you a quick overview of user feedback and engagement highlights, 94% of them found it useful for planning these visits that they have to make to the households to understand what they're going through. 89% of them found the chatbot easy to use. 83% of them reported that it could help with decision making support. And that was the crux of it, right? We needed to see how they could use it for their everyday work. And all of them completed the queries. There was no drop off. Only caveat here is because they had not seen that knowledge file earlier, they had not seen this data compiled in one place earlier. We had to show them the data file in print, which is what you see in the photo. So they had to see it in print and then ask questions on the AI powered bot. So I would love suggestions from all of you on how to introduce them to that directly on the bot itself. Then it would help us a lot. The main reason I think we were seeing that they wanted to see it in paper was because these graphs are not easily shareable and they need to be seen and explored and they want to look at it closely. Some of them are drawing on it. Some of them are really trying to make sense of it in offline ways. They were not very comfortable online. So that was why we did this. But also other suggestions are totally welcome. In terms of pilot metrics, again, 2 to 5 minutes is what each person took, under 1 minute for responses. They said it's useful. There's high alignment in terms of the data that we're putting. There's no hallucination happening, thank God, because this is very sensitive data. We can't have them see a pregnancy number looking different or number of maternal deaths looking different or even just access to resources looking different because these are officers planning schemes and planning visits. If they see inaccurate data in what we're sharing, then it becomes a challenge. The cosine similarity was 0.8. We ran the test 3 times. We were happy that it was high. Couple of key gaps, which is where I want to spend like a minute or two. One is that departments have been very they've been very cagey with sharing their data because they're concerned about data security. So we have had to come up with a data security policy within the org first, then also for this program specifically, sign a whole bunch of NDAs to even get access to the data for the backend. They were not comfortable, for example, sharing APIs. We're still trying to get that. That was one challenge in just constructing the whole thing. But in terms of taking it out there, they felt that the responses were super long. So we have had to play around with prompts to bring it down to something shorter and more punchy and useful without losing the caveat, without losing the meaning of what we're sharing. It is still dependent on the human interface, like I had mentioned earlier. And the most challenging thing after all of this was they have not been using data traditionally in their decision making. They go more based on biases, they go based on their intuition, which is very strong because they're based in the field. So we are forming a new habit. It's not some government mandate that they now have to shift to this bot, right? This is a completely new habit that we're innovating with. So the minute we disappear, they stop using it. So now the question is, how do we form this habit and how do we keep it going? Again, all sorts of feedback, more than welcome. In terms of aha moments, of course, again, I won't spend too much time here, but officers were excited. They were excited to see this being useful for their everyday work. They were most excited when they saw their district or their block written in that database because then it wasn't suddenly something far away. It was very specific to them. And way ahead of us, they already knew what sort of questions to ask. And they would tell us, hey, listen, this data is not accurate because somebody hadn't uploaded the dashboard. So there is also differences in their reality between what they see and what the dashboard represents, which was coming out through the chatbot. Again, very interesting because we didn't expect these sorts of challenges to come up. In terms of key takeaways and what we're doing next, one is there is a strong demand. Everybody's excited to see a chatbot in being rolled out at this level, especially district and block. Data accessibility, like I mentioned, is still a challenge. We're trying to work around this, but the minute there is a union government and a state government and then a local government, that federal tension is quite high. So how do we actually keep this going is a question we even have now. Will be critical to develop a new habit, like I mentioned earlier. In terms of what we're doing next, we are redesigning responses. We are expanding the data that we have as much as we possibly can at this point. We are testing out newer flows to share learning resources. And with these 6 blocks, we're now trying to create a more specific flow for them so that they can ask. So that we can send messages to them saying, hey, listen, we met you. What did you think about this? What more could you use? Here is a nudge to keep, solving the challenges that you've all chosen under the data leadership program. Yeah, and also to use data analytics to, sort of see what the trends have been. That's something we haven't done fully yet. We're still using more rudimentary statistics and descriptive stats at this point. Yeah, that's about it. If you are working on a similar pilot with governments, please reach out. I feel like there are so many challenges that are so specific to working with government as a stakeholder because of scale, because of sensitivity, because of scrutiny and accountability in general. So if you're working and if you can help us think through some of that, we also want to share what we have learned, what sort of challenges we've solved in more detail. So please do reach out. Thanks. That's about it.
Thank you, Siddha. Thank you so much for presenting and bringing in like the new light, like to the government related projects. Yeah, we have like say 1 minute left, but yeah, open the floor for questions if there are any for Siddharth. Um, for TKC team, you have a question on the chat, like Nishita from ASEAN asked, so you can continue answering there. In case there are any questions for Siddharth, please feel free to ask.
No questions as such, but thank you so much, Siddharth, for such a lovely presentation. And the use case seems very, very interesting. I like especially your last, question on the few gaps that you're noticing, on how to form a habit, right? I think that's something that we are also tackling with. How do we get our users to actually form that habit of, oh, hey, I have a bot that I can talk to, or even remember that I have something or just on my phone or just on WhatsApp that I can talk to and get answers or chat with. So that habit forming thing is something that we are also trying to figure out a solution for. And I remember having this conversation with Krishna about it. And one thing that our pilot sort of helped us understand was that the whole nudge theory, the concept of the nudge theory, where we keep nudging our participants and uh, then remembering to use the bot, our nudges were very helpful. Like as soon as when on days that we were sending them nudges, they would remember to use it for the next 2 days. Like the second day we didn't send a nudge, but the second day they still remembered to use it. And then the third day we sent a nudge. And so now in like we're currently in the middle of our second pilot, and how I'm sort of doing the nudge plan for this pilot is that I started off with a 1 day gap and then a 2 day gap and then a 3 day gap. And it seems to be working. Like, people are slowly starting to remember and starting to use the bot on their own without me nudging them even on the second day or on the third day. So I think that nudge theory could be helpful. It will take time, like especially changing user behavior and working with behavioral change in that sense will be a time-taking process. But I think this concept of sending nudges and then spanning them out, taking spanning them out with different days can sort of work and can help our users eventually at the end of maybe 1 or 2 months of us reminding them then themselves remembering that, oh hey, data is very helpful. I should probably talk to data to inform my decision. So I think that nudge theory can help with that as well. Yeah, so just wanted to bring that.
Thanks so much. Definitely. I think the challenge with Nudge also is that Nudge theory is built on their intrinsic motivation, right? So here we had a tough time figuring out where the intrinsic motivation lies because the officers have so much else already going on that now if we come in with another program saying, hey, here's something new, how do you really build it into their everyday work? So that's been a separate parallel study we've had to run just to identify what really is the hook for them, right? But the day we identify that, we're definitely going to be sending them a lot of backend messages. This is something I think for us has been our mentor. We've been going back and forth on, what is it that we can actually send? What is it that would be useful for them in a language, one that they're comfortable with, but also then in terms of their everyday work, right? But thanks, Rantika, for mentioning this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you have any more questions or thoughts for Siddharth? Like on the nudge thing, like we have a few resources that, like, I mean, like few courses and books that we read and which we thought were like very interesting and helpful. Like, happy to share that in the email that I'll send along with these resources. But yeah, as Shagufta said, it's like an ongoing journey. You just have to figure out, try different things, see what is working, what's not. Like, just keep iterating it. Okay, so before people drop off, like I think somehow are already dropping off, but just two announcements. Like one will be sharing details on the closeout meetup by mid next week, like what you have to prepare, like what are the things, the detailed agenda that we are trying to curate. So on a high level, 1 day is more about lightning talks and like a few sessions, and the second day is more like a larger event where there'll be existing Glyphic NGOs coming in. We are trying to also call in few partners, funders where you can share your impact and get to interact with a lot more people who are working on similar solutions. So that's the high level thing, but we'll share more details over next week. Two, as you all voted last time, the pricing webinar is going to happen on September 1st. So I'll be blocking all your calendars right after this call. So please do join that, because from October, if as the billing would start, and like it's super important for all of you to know what's the budget that will go in running a chatbot. I know there are like message credits, AI credits that most of you still have it left hand, which can be pretty much used. But it's very important for you to know like what is the costing looking like, what are the different components, though it's there on our website and we have spoken to you like sometime earlier. But that's one webinar which we would highly recommend at least one of your team members to join for you to get a better understanding of things. Cool. That's pretty much it from our end. Thank you so much for joining. We'll end the call right now, and we'll be sharing the resources over email. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.